it's a little wanker with a microphone. Are you ready for a funny video? Hi, my name's Steph, and if you've been here for a while then you already know that, but if you haven't, welcome to this new era of chronic illness in which I find myself. I've made all my old videos private because they just don't really seem to align now with who I am, so I'm starting afresh. And I thought I might as well chat about why. I have wanted to make this video for quite a while. I didn't really know where to start with it or what to say. So I'm definitely not at the beginning of the chronic illness journey. I'm in the middle of it. I don't have the answers. I don't have any advice. But I want to document my experience with this and treatment and medication and symptoms. The sunglasses work, guys? The sunglasses work, darling? I don't know. So I used to make a lot of videos about walking and hiking. I stopped. And I stopped because I stopped doing it. And I stopped doing it because I started to feel a very extreme amount of pain in my joints. That at first I thought was an injury, and as time went by, as doctors' visits were more and more dismissive, I thought it wasn't an injury. I've suffered with my skin pretty much my whole life. Inflammation, eczema and psoriasis. Managing it has been a battle that I've lost and won several times over. Nobody ever told me though that it can progress to your joints, psoriasis. I never really knew that. I was just knocking about my teens and my 20s trying to manage it, trying to live as normal a life as possible when you feel like a leper and 50% of your body is covered in sores. But I did the best that I could, and I had light therapy, and it helped for a time. The first time I had it, it went away for a year and a half. The next time I had it was maybe a year. And by maybe the fourth or fifth time I had it, you can only have it once a year, it lasted a few months, so it clearly wasn't doing what it needed to do for me anymore. But then I started to get this pain in my knee, and it just would not go away. And it started on a hike actually. I was attempting to do the Cumbria Way, which is a 75-mile trail. Yeah, it's a bit of a challenge, but it shouldn't have been out of my comfort zone by any stretch. I was an avid walker, but it was, and on that trail it ballooned, and I thought, I just knew that I hadn't injured it, I hadn't slipped or twisted it, but that's what doctors told me. I couldn't really bend it, the swelling would never really go down. I found myself wearing a knee compression and support literally all of the time. My ankles and my Achilles tendons were killing me. I couldn't wake up of a morning without being doubled over in pain like this, and like I felt like I was 90. In this time, my skin is completely flared up all over my body, and I went to the GP and he said, take steroids, put steroids on it, and see how you go. And I begged to be put on the waiting list for dermatology. It wasn't my first rodeo. I know how quickly my body can go through massive inflammation. So I was begging, he was like, no. 3 months later, it doesn't work, I go back. Then I'm on the waiting list for a year. A year was when I went to that appointment, finally a year later, and I was wearing my knee compression. The dermatologist said, why are you wearing a knee compression? And I said, well, I get really bad knee pain, and my ankles and my wrist started to go. Now I have to wear this thing because I've got issues with the tendons in my wrist. And she said, well, you should see a rheumatologist. 8 weeks later, I had a diagnosis of psoriatic arthritis. How do we manage this? Very intense medication. She said the first line of treatment is a drug called methotrexate, which, if you are familiar with chronic inflammatory arthritis conditions, you will have heard of. It's pretty intense. In stronger doses, it's used as a chemotherapy drug. My doses are not that, so it's a therapeutic 20 milligrams. However, the side effects ain't fun. The side effects actually suck, and I get a methotrexate hangover. I'll take it on a Sunday night, about 9 o'clock at night. Monday is a total write-off. I feel sick all day mostly. It comes in waves. I'm never actually sick, never vomit. It's just a feeling, sensation, dizzy. My blood sugar drops at the most inopportune moments. I get this feeling like I've been hit by a truck, like intense fatigue, and I get fatigue with my condition anyway. Like, nobody with a pain condition is ever gonna probably say they aren't fatigued. Like, it ain't tiredness, guys, it's something far deeper, bone achingly exhausted feeling. But the medication fatigue is a different beast. I've fallen asleep on the train before, like unable to keep my eyes open. So what that's looked like in terms of work is sort of navigating the days I can work now. My work has been amazing, but it's looked like actually probably not working Mondays anymore, at least not going in. I might do a little bit of work from home, but I don't go in anymore, and I really try to use the day to take the rest that I need, because if I don't, the methotrexate will, the week is just shot to shit, to be honest. Like, if I'm tired from the methotrexate and I burn myself out, I'm nothing by the weekend. And the reason I take it on a Sunday night and not at the weekend is because I actually want to have a weekend. I want to have some semblance of a life. However, currently, I've been on it for 6 months. I've got De Quervain's tendinosynovitis in my wrist. I've got plantar fasciitis in both my heels. I've got Achilles tendonitis. It's really bad on the right, but I get it on the left too. My patella tendon is, my knee is just the least of it at the moment. Actually, it's not so bad. It used to be the biggest one, but it's not so bad at the minute. However, the nature of this condition is the fluctuating symptoms and unpredictability of them. So someday I could wake up feeling absolutely fine, and the following day barely able to get out of bed and in so much pain. I can't even move. So it is what it is. I'm going to have a med review though, because I think after 6 months I should be a bit better than I am. I'm afraid to come off of the medication though, because it is doing something. A year ago I would never have thought I could do a long distance walk this September. So unmedicated, I'm absolutely useless. I wouldn't be able to be living a semblance of a normal life. I need the medication, I realise now, but I just don't think it's doing quite enough for me to have great quality of life. So we're going to review that soon. But I am medicated now, and in the past 6 months I have felt something a little akin to life returning to my spirit. Like there's a bit of light behind my eyes again. I feel like I'm in the world, I'm not just surviving. There were days when I couldn't even get out of bed. I forced myself to go to work. I was trying to hide it a lot, like how much pain I was in. Pre-diagnosis, when you don't know what's happening to you either, you just get on. I just got on with it. I just tried my hardest to cope. And I look back now and I realise how much pain I was in every single day, and I'm just astounded I did cope. Maybe I didn't. I don't know. The point is, I'm now feeling like I could start walking a bit. I could start training a bit, and Gently Does It, I feel as though I want to document what the return, the comeback tour from chronic illness looks like. I'm always going to have this, so it's something to manage for the rest of my life, but I don't always need to suffer with this. And I'm at the first line of treatment right now, so my medication is working, but I'm not sure it's working well enough. There's plenty of other treatments in the sea, so I may move on to a different treatment, we'll see. But for now, I feel as though I'm getting myself back a bit, and I'm going to start walking again. This year, I mean it's May now, this year I have had a goal in mind for September, that there's a long distance something or other that I would like, I've got my sights set on and feel called to do. So the next few months are really about getting myself into a position that I can do it really and survive it, and learn to pace myself, my pain and my miles, so that I don't push myself into a flare-up. Because another thing I've been learning is flare-ups suck. And it's not, maybe I need to alter that language, like it's not pushing myself into a flare-up, it's not my fault. So I don't think my mind and my body have caught up with one another about what they want and are willing to do, which is something I'm learning every day to listen to. But equally I don't want to, because I shouldn't have to listen. I shouldn't be in my 30s and have inflammatory arthritis, nobody should. So there's a lot of anger about the fact, like, woe is me, why is this happening to me? Equally it is, so let's just get on with it. Something that has really landed me in a lot of emotional pain is this lack of trust that you then have for your body. Like, you know, if my friends were going for a walk and it didn't even need to be that far, I really have to factor in whether my body can do it, whether I can push it or not, whether I can recover. It's a constant mental load of the load, like what is too much and what is not enough, because also if I don't move at all, I get pain from that. The rebuild is on, the rebrand is on. I feel as though I can do it. I feel like I have got more movement and less pain. I'm never not going to have bad days, but it would be better if there were more good days than bad. Which currently I don't think the ratio is where me or my doctors would want it to be. I may or may not share some pictures here of what I look like when I'm having a very bad flare-up. I feel a lot of shame about it, and I feel very ugly when it happens, and I feel like I want to hide. And it's not so invisible an illness for me, this. So the joint pain, you can't see it, but the inflammation on my face, you can see it. So sometimes I wouldn't leave the house, I wouldn't even go and get a package, I wouldn't see anybody if my face wasn't like calm, because it just felt awful. And that's been hard. And part of me feels like even if my joints were tip-top and I wasn't in any pain, if my face was flared up, I wouldn't go and do this walk. I wouldn't want anybody to see me, and I wouldn't want to leave the house. And I still have a lot of work to do, clearly, on body image and my worth, my self-worth, when it comes to having a very visible flare-up and embarrassment. And people just stare. I wouldn't want anyone to think it's contagious, because it isn't. but it's difficult when you can feel eyes on you and people are looking, and it's embarrassing. As is probably obvious, none of this is going to be perfect. This isn't going to be a cool hiking channel. This is an honest one, a chronic one, and a, I don't know, hopefully hopeful one, but we will see. I will bid you adieu for now. It is an absolutely glorious day here, and I'm probably at about 20% pain today, so call that a win. Thanks for listening. If you got this far, well done. You've got more patience than I. Here's to honest recovery. Here's to not being perfect. Here's to not performing wellness. And here's to a little bit of life returning. Thanks for watching.